Yo, this is the Fight Block. Here to give my UFC on FX predictions. Melvin Guillard takes on Jim Miller in the main event. This is the first live broadcasted FX card, and they did do their UFC 142 prelims on FX last weekend, and very similar production to the first Fox show. Same graphics, same music, as some people do not like. It's the NFL, but now Fox Sports theme song. So just expect very similar production as the first Fox show. Overall, going to be some decent fights. Free fights. It's on Friday, so Friday night fights. And yeah, just going to give some quick updates. I'm bringing on a buddy of mine to help me out with the Fight Block. I've got a lot of cool ideas, and I'm just looking to grow this and very take this thing in different directions. So check out the blog. My buddy's already putting up content. He's an awesome writer, and he's wrote some quality articles. So check out the blog, www.fightblock.blogspot.com. Going to be producing more content. I've made it a New Year's resolution of mine to really stay consistent with this thing and just grow my ideas and grow the Fight Block. And so just stay tuned, subscribe, and once again, appreciate those who've subscribed and drop their thoughts and comments. But just, yeah, I'm looking to grow this thing. So stay tuned. All right, first fight on the card, Pat Barry takes on Christian Morecraft. This is a heavyweight matchup. You know, Pat Barry, I don't know if heavyweight division, he's too small for the heavyweight division, I think. And I'm not sure how difficult a weight cut would be to the light heavyweight division. But, I mean, every time it seems like Pat Barry steps in to the octagon, he's in some sort of freak show fight. Christian Morecraft, he's a huge heavyweight. He's close to 6'11", 6'10", something like that. He's huge. And Pat Barry is one of the smallest heavyweights, if not the smallest heavyweight in the division. So when these two guys stand toe-to-toe, it's going to look like another freak show fight. We saw Pat Barry, he took on Stefan Struve. That was a freak show-looking fight. Ended up being submitted by Struve. Was just, the reach advantage was crazy. So, you know, this is a tough fight to call because Pat Barry is definitely the more technical striker. Christian Morecraft, though, we did see in his UFC debut, does have some wrestling, took Struve down, and put a beating on Struve on the ground. And this is definitely what he's going to want to do against Pat Barry, is get Barry to the ground, get on top of him, smother him, don't let Barry get back to his feet, and just pound away on him. That's how Christian Morecraft wins this fight. Pat Barry needs to keep this fight standing. He needs to get in, out, quick strikes. I mean, he does have the power to finish people. We saw him nearly finish Czech Congo, and unfortunately, the tides rapidly turned, and Pat Barry found himself out cold and not Czech Congo. One of the crazier comebacks in the UFC, probably the best comeback of 2011 for Czech Congo. So Pat Barry coming off that knockout loss. You know, Pat Barry very much a fan favorite, and but he definitely needs a win in this fight. If he loses, I could see him being cut. So, you know, tough fight to call. You know, Pat Barry has got the striker's chance. Could easily catch Morecraft, you know, chop away at Morecraft's legs, beat him up on the feet. But, you know, I'm going to go with Christian Morecraft. I think the size advantage is going to be too much. And if Morecraft gets a hold of Barry, takes his fight to the ground, I really don't see Barry getting back up to his feet. It's going to be tough. I'm taking Christian Morecraft to win this fight by TKO in the, I'll say, third round. I think Morecraft gets this fight to the ground and just ground and pounds Barry. So TKO, ground and pound by Christian Morecraft in the third round. Going on to the next fight, not going to lie, don't know much about either one of these guys. Did a little bit of research. It's Mike Easton taking on Jared Papazian, I think is his name. Mike Easton, this is his second fight in the UFC. He did take a brief hiatus from 2009 to 2011. Made his UFC debut and won his fight by TKO, his UFC debut. He is 11-1, so he's got some experience, but he is struggling to find opponents. I know his debut fight, his original opponent had to pull out, and once again, in this fight, his original opponent has pulled out once again, and Jared Papazian is stepping in, who I don't know anything really about. He's 14-6. His last five fights has gone to the decision, so he doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of finishing instinct, power, or submissions. So it doesn't look all that dangerous. I just got to go with Mike Easton. Just looking at stats, record, and consistency, I'm going to take Mike Easton to win by TKO or submission. I just see him finishing Papazian. Like I said, don't know much about him, but just looking at the stats and records and how these guys finish fights, I'm taking Mike Easton by TKO submission, second round. All right. Moving on to the co-main event. This one should be fireworks. Dwayne Bane Ludwig taking on Josh the Dentist Neer. Ludwig, UFC veteran. Both these guys have close to 50 fights each. I think Neer's around 40-something. Ludwig, 40-something also. Guys have been around a lot of experience. Josh Neer did get released from the UFC. He's now back. Won his return fight by TKO. Let me look up who he defeated. But Dwayne Ludwig also coming off a gritty performance against Ultimate Fighter winner Amir Sadallah. But I don't know who Josh Neer's opponent was. Keith Wisniewski. Every time I look up a fighter's name, it's just, like, who the opponent was, their last name is always something crazy, and I can't pronounce it. Wisniewski. Won by TKO in the second round. So, I mean, Josh Neer, he is a dangerous fighter, very exciting. He can win by submission, he can win by TKO, very fast and very energetic, and just all-around an entertaining fighter to watch. Ludwig, he's a Muay Thai fighter, likes to stand, likes to trade, and I see most of his fights staying on the feet. Tough fight to call, really. I'm going to have to go with Josh Neer on this fight. I just think he'll be more active. And I think, should this fight get to the ground, Neer is definitely dangerous with his submissions. And Ludwig has been known to be caught by submissions. Oh, man, tough fight to call. I'm going to say this one goes to the judges, and Josh Neer pulls off a close, hard-fought decision win. But this should be a good one. I think Neer's speed. Dwayne Ludwig's pretty fast, but I think as the rounds progress, gets later in the fight, Josh Neer will hold an advantage, and will turn it up and win the later rounds. So I'm taking Josh Neer to win by decision. Going on to the main event, two recent contenders, both suffering disappointing losses. Melvin Guillard taking on Jim Miller in the main event. Awesome matchup. Jim Miller coming off of that tough loss to Ben Henderson, who is now getting the shot at Frankie Edgar for the title. So it was a number one contendership fight. Jim Miller had won 7 fights prior to that, so tough loss to get that close to a title opportunity and then to lose. But this is a good fight to keep both these guys in the mix. The winner is still right there in contention. So it's a good matchup. Guillard coming off that 47-second submission loss, stunning loss to Joe Lozon. Really, I think before the fight, Guillard wasn't giving Lozon any. I don't know. He said he was taking the fight seriously, but I have a feeling he was overlooking Lozon. And sure enough, gets caught in a submission and tough loss. But Guillard, he's changing camps, which is kind of interesting. Had a lot of success with Greg Jackson's camp. And he's now switching over to, I believe, what they're calling themselves, the Black Zillions. It's Rashad Evans' new camp, stationed out in Florida. But as we all know, Rashad Evans, former Greg Jackson camp member, and Melvin Guillard, former and now new member of the Black Zillions. So I was reading an article that said there was no bad blood or anything between the decision made by Guillard to switch, but it's kind of an interesting move. So we'll see how this works out for Guillard. I think a lot of his recent success has come from the game plans and the smart fighting that he's received from the Greg Jackson's camp. So we'll see what kind of Guillard shows up. But Guillard, very energetic, fast, and can easily end fights like that, snap. So he's a dangerous fighter. Both him and Miller have a wrestling background, but this is a tough fight to call. Jim Miller, very tough to finish. Guillard, on the other hand, has been known to be caught in submissions. Seems like when he does lose a fight, he's getting caught by a submission, and Jim Miller's definitely sneaky with his submission game. We saw that recently in his fight against Charles Oliveira. Both look like Oliveira had Jim Miller caught in a knee bar. Next you know, Jim Miller's rolling out, and he's got Oliveira in a knee bar. So Jim Miller, very, very sneaky on the ground. I'm picking this fight. I'm taking Jim Miller by submission. Tough fight to call. Really, a pick 'em fight could go either way. But I just think Miller catches Guillard and finishes this fight by way of submission, I'll say, in the second round. All right, those are my predictions for UFC on FX. Once again, card is on Friday. It's the first show on FX. And, follow on Twitter, subscribe, and check out the blog. All those links will be in the description box. Once again, got some ideas I'm looking to expand on. So stay tuned. Brought a buddy of mine on, so look for more content, new stuff, new year, and bigger things. So thanks for listening, and check back soon. Got a UFC on Fox 2 coming up. Also UFC 143 just around the corner. That's Condit versus Diaz for the interim title. So a lot of fights to talk about, and so check back. That's all I got to say. Peace. I'm out of here.